Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about what I think would be best for gun running part 2 when that looks like it eventually will arrive in Grand Theft Auto Online. Now, the reason I word that the way I did is because in case you missed my video a couple days ago, which I'll leave a link to in the description, it looks as like the next update for Grand Theft Auto Online is going to be a gun running part 2 themed update. The theme is technically Smuggler's Run. That's what a lot of people are basing it off of. But honestly, Smuggler's Run is really similar to what we already have with gun running. So if you're not caught up to this point yet, I'll leave a link to a video in the description so that you can check it out and get caught up on everything we know so far about the next update. But to summarize, a lot of people were upset because Smuggler's Run is already so similar to gun running. It's basically land vehicles going from point A to point B, gathering something, bringing it back to point A, and then ending up selling the modified version of what you acquired. And that's basically what Smuggler's Run was about. And one of the biggest complaints that I've seen from gun running is that it only tackled one specific set of vehicles, and that is land vehicles. There wasn't any air vehicles, and there wasn't any water vehicles, and that had a lot of people upset. And that doesn't just apply to vehicles too. Weapons, clothing, the theme itself. A lot of people were upset that Rockstar only tackled really one area with gun running. Now, a user on the GTA forums, Misfit138, has actually created a GTA gun running Nautica DLC concept that I think is really cool, and I would love it if Rockstar took a kind of aquatic update to gun running, and then we'll talk about a aircraft version a little bit later on. So what's pretty cool about this is that Misfit has actually provided some pretty cool artwork. So I'll actually show you guys that on the screen while I'm talking about it. I do think it's pretty cool. So let's go over everything he would want included in this sort of gun running part 2. As far as weapons go, he wants an APS amphibious rifle, an SPP-1 underwater pistol, an M1 underwater defense gun, a spear gun, which sounds awesome, which would have a slow rate of fire, but devastating damage, and then a mini underwater proximity charge, which would be at low buoyancy. That'd be pretty cool as well if you wanted to try and take out other boats or stuff like that. Now, as far as clothing goes, he wants to see wetsuits and neoprene clothing of all kinds, including full suits, short sleeves, no sleeves, legless, short pants, zipped up, unzipped, any combination, naval gear, including officer hats, sailor suits, Dixie cup hats, military dress uniforms, and a whole lot more. Now, there's a lot of vehicles that he would like to see in this, so once again, I'll leave a link to this in the description if you want to check it out for yourself. The first vehicle would be the XSR Interceptor, which would be a sleek, high-speed attack watercraft equipped with torpedoes, light multi-role missiles, a mounted 33mm remote weapon system on the front. That sounds pretty cool. A Mark 6 assault boat loaded with chain guns, a Ravine command boat that can hold up to 8 people with 5 weapon stations, a Rinspeed Scuba, which is a submersible smart car with 2 seats and no weapons. And then what I think is pretty cool is him actually using the Ardent as an upgrade. So he says Submersible Ardent Classic, or the JB702, based off of the Lotus Esprit featured in The Spy Who Loved Me, would feature front-end machine guns, 8 mini torpedoes, and the ability to travel underwater. So you guys know the Ardent is roughly based off of the James Bond Lotus. It had the ability to go underwater. The one we currently have in the tunables cannot go underwater, but in a part 2, that would be awesome if they did make it go underwater. So that'd be pretty awesome. The next vehicle would be a Sea Breacher Custom. So a speedy little submarine that has the design based off the body of a shark with the speed and maneuverability of a dolphin. It can jump, flip, barrel roll in the waves, and do so much more. The next one would be the M80 Stiletto. Consider this to be your high seas mobile operations center. Has the ability to house one of various customizable watercrafts and submarines, can be outfitted with sleeping quarters, a place to upgrade weapons, and vehicles. So this would be awesome. I really like what Rockstar did with the MOC on gun running, but of course it's limited. So I think a watercraft version of that would be absolutely awesome. So I love the idea of the M80 Stiletto, a weaponized dinghy, which is simply a dinghy with a cannon and armor. And then the last vehicle he has is a luxury submarine, which would be Rockstar's Shark Card Seller. Works like your yacht with the ability to dive and rise with several deep sea locations, fully loaded with a lounge, including a personal bartender, a luxury bedroom with full window views of the ocean, and everything in it. Just call your captain for a personal sub to your task taxi for your luxury submarine. And this is kind of what I'm imagining, like a view like this. That would be absolutely awesome to see from below the depths of the sea. So that would be amazing. I also think it would be cool if Rockstar did other living quarters in the water, whether it's underwater houses or just vessels in which you could live in. That would also sound pretty exciting. And with all those new vehicles, weapons, and more would come new MOC CEOs and MC missions, such as diving deep into the ocean, breaking into the humane labs via the underground water, which sounds awesome, posing as naval officers and stealing the M80 Stiletto from off the aircraft carrier. I mean, there's so many different missions that we can use with the water. And I think that it would be absolutely incredible because it's an area that Rockstar really has not yet explored. In fact, out of all three types of vehicles, land, air, and sea, sea has been the one that has been neglected the most. I mean, even the air vehicles, which is still pretty neglected, has its own update, the flight school update. But there's absolutely nothing for watercrafts, which again is kind of disappointing outside of maybe something like the Dodo seaplane and then the Kraken, in which we got from the original update when we moved over to PS4 and Xbox One. And I think this concept is amazing because Rockstar definitely haven't made enough use of the huge underwater areas that they bothered to create for this game. Not only do we have the sea that surrounds the map, but the rivers and the Alamo Sea and the dam and stuff like that. There's a lot of bodies of water that could actually be pretty cool. Now, another idea I think would be awesome would be water-based heist with yachts as the ultimate planning room. As you know now, yachts don't have planning rooms for heists. But if there were water-based heists, I think that would be pretty awesome in order to do. Now, the one thing that I think would need to happen in order to make this update truly great would be to add animals in the ocean. It would be so boring if there wasn't anything dangerous to hunt you down there, like sharks or whales or other things like that that would maybe add to the beauty and the mysteriousness of the underwater world. So I don't know how Rockstar would ultimately organize that, but without animals, this would kind of be a little bit of an awkward update. Now, moving on to the second part of what I want to talk about, I think that this next part of gun running, Smuggler's Run, or whatever it's going to be called, needs to focus on aircrafts as well. And that needs to start with a flying mobile operations center. So I'm thinking something around the same size as the cargo plane that has the ability to bring your vehicles in there, has all the same features that the MOC has now, like a luxury living quarter, the ability to modify your vehicles and weapons. Now, one thing that I think of from this is I think of the latest Fast and Furious movie, where they actually literally had one of these. They had like a massive plane that almost acted exactly like a mobile operations center. So I thought that that was pretty cool. It came with a gun locker, wardrobe, and armory and everything like that, the ability to store cars. And I don't even think Rockstar have to go all that out of the way in order to put something like that into the game. The cargo plane is big enough, and it could certainly suffice for many of our needs. Now, another thing I think people would be interested in an aerial side would be a ton of vehicles that I feel like Rockstar missed out on from the first gun running update. So one of those would be like the Hunter helicopter. That could be pretty awesome from GTA San Andreas. Another one of those could be the Sea Sparrow, which is basically like a Dodo seaplane helicopter. That would be pretty awesome. Also, the very vintage World War II Rustler style plane from San Andreas as well. That could be another great option. There's a ton of different aircrafts that Rockstar could add that I know a ton of players would enjoy. And if Rockstar were to combine that with what they typically do, where they modify existing vehicles into the game, we could get a pretty sweet upgrade to vehicles like the Swift Custom. Having it weaponized, that would actually be pretty awesome. Maybe they could finally give a buff to the Savage helicopter, one of the coolest military vehicles we have in the game, but also one of the weakest ones as well. And in addition, it could also lead to some pretty epic MOC Mobile Operation Center missions too. For example, just the exact same how we had water-based heists, there could be, sky-based heists where you have to infiltrate a building from the sky or something like that. Maybe you have to get into the FIB building, but the only way to get in is to skydive through the top. I'm really not too sure. I'm just kind of rattling off ideas off the top of my head. But at the end of the day, I still think that would be awesome in order to utilize areas that Rockstar missed out on in gun running. because I feel like there was a ton that they did. They pretty much nailed the land vehicles, as in fact we only got land vehicles, but they really didn't focus on anything else. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comment section down below. Remember, this isn't me per se wish listing of what I hope or think the next DLC is. What the information we've got right now and the leaks we've gotten right now is that the next update is going to be very similar to gun running, kind of like a Smuggler's Run game. And my hope for this video is to maybe get the conversation going about where I hope Rockstar ultimately go. Instead of focusing on land vehicles once again and just basically doing the same thing over and over again, that they would maybe go for a different route and maybe go for the air or maybe go for the sea. Areas that I think are underutilized online and have a ton of potential too. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think of this as far as the next update goes in Grand Theft Auto Online. Love to hear from you guys down there. If you did go and enjoy this video though, a like rating would of course be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. Without the way guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.